We had the provincial budget, of course, come down yesterday afternoon, provided some of the highlights or perhaps lowlights, depending on if you're going to get taxed more or are losing a tax credit somewhere. And when I say you, specifically referring in this particular case to those of you who drive electric vehicles, because the government has gone out of its way to say, you know what? It's time you started paying for the road network as well. So we thought we'd dive a little deeper into that with Simon-Pierre Rioux. He's founder of the Quebec EV Association. Mr. Rioux, thank you for being here this afternoon. Let me begin with the question. I'm going to ask you for a reaction. Do you feel, as someone, obviously who's involved in EVs and this association, targeted here in this budget?
Well, it's something that they're announcing ahead of time. We were expecting eventually to hear about that, yes, we would have to contribute our fair share of the road works that need to be done, and not having to pay any gas taxes. Of course, we were expecting something in that vicinity, a fixed rate tax. Because trying to do that by kilometers that were done every year would have been very complicated. So it's a fair number right now. It's $125 that's expected for fully electric cars, and $62.50 for a hybrid, right, plug-in hybrid. So it's okay, and it's starting in 2027, which is also the year where they end the incentives for acquisition of the electric cars.
Are you surprised at all? First of all, to point out, again, to you what you just said now, this does not go into effect, not in 2026, but not until 2027. So you basically have a little more than a year and a half before you have to absorb this cost. But I'm wondering, too, are you surprised they didn't just do away with the incentives even sooner than they already said they would, given the fact that the deficit is as large as it is?
Well, the incentives that they're giving, the $4,000 this year and $2,000 next year, are coming from the Green Fund, which is being paid by carbon tax. So that it's not coming directly from the budget. What they're doing right now is they're trying to take that money from the green budget to put it into public transport. So they kind of transferred the money around. So as they're trying to cut on a lot of things right now, they're trying to take that money from the carbon tax to pay for public transport a lot more than for electric car incentives. And the second part is that electric cars were supposed to come down in prices starting 2025 until 2027, where in 2027 we should have the same price, whether it's a gas car or an electric car. And it's happening somewhere else in the world. It's happening with Chinese electric cars. They have been able to get the price down a lot. And unfortunately, the Canadian government has decided that they would tax those cars 105%. So it makes them a lot more expensive than they should be. And if they were not doing that, of course, we would have cheap electric cars available for us, and there wouldn't be any need for an incentive like that.
Yeah, to that point, though, when you can buy an electric car here, I don't know, what is the average price for an electric car if you're buying it here?
They're starting at $45,000. The average sale price for an electric car in Canada is $68,000, whereas a gas car average is $65,000. So people do take the higher trim levels when they do buy a car, whether it's electric or gas.
I will point out, by the way, one other thing in the budget concerns what the government thinks is a luxury vehicle. So that used to be at $40,000. That's going up to $62,500. And as you just outlined, that will be most electric cars, assuming the prices don't come down significantly either. So you'll be faced with an additional tax there too.
Absolutely, and that's being an addition to the license plate that we have to pay. Of course, it's something that was not expected. They never mentioned that they would change that because electric cars inherently at this time are more expensive than a gas car. That's why they did change that luxury tax to put it to a higher bracket. I think it's mischievous on their part to do that. And the other thing that's super important for people to understand is, yes, you want to have the electric car owners to pay their fair share for road repair. But the $2.8 billion of the MTQ budget to do those repairs is mostly paid by income tax. It's not paid by the gas tax at all. And what they're going to be getting from the $125 is about $127 million per year. That's like a few 20 or 30 kilometers worth of highway surfacing that they're getting. So it's not a huge impact, but, of course, eventually, when you have a lot more electric cars and there's going to be over 1 million of them on the road, it will have that impact. So yes, they need to start at one point, and it's fine. They'll be starting in 2027.
I wonder too, there's been so much talk, of course, about EVs, and the government went out of its way, not just here provincially, but federally as well, with rebates to make it more accessible for people. Once these rebates stop, do you think that's the end of it? Why would people want to buy electric cars without those rebates? Because they're going to be more expensive than, traditional gas-powered cars. Is it the end of EVs, or at least the growth of the EV industry, do you think?
In North America, it's going to be a slowdown for sure. In the rest of the world, where Chinese electric cars are available, it's just going to keep becoming more and more popular. So, as you travel around the world, you go on vacation in different areas, you'll see these electric cars everywhere. And in North America, we'll still be polluting and using those gas cars. The end result is, if you have the incentives over 6 years, you will have saved many thousands of dollars because you're not paying for gas. If you do not have those incentives anymore, after 5 or 6 years, the gas car and the electric car will have cost the same if you include the fuel. So when you do the choice of an electric car, you have a little bit more money available to put every month on that payment, but it includes pretty much like if you were paying for gas. So you're not going to save anything, but you're not going to spend more because you're buying an electric car when you include the fact that you're paying for your gas and you're paying for that car.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rioux. Thanks for the time.
It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Bye-bye now.